I don't believe in white supremacy. I do, however, believe in supreme stupidity. And a lot of that supreme stupidity can be found on Twitter. Now, the story I'm about to tell you could be a fantastic example of supreme stupidity. But first of all, please bear this in mind as I'm talking to you about this story. I have set up a Buy Me a Beer campaign fundraiser for my channel, as you all know recently. You all know why I've done it. You all know who I am. You all know what I do, what I speak about, and you all know why I do it. The reason, if you didn't know, I have set up the Buy Me a Beer fundraiser to support my channel is because YouTube and Google have demonetized me. They are saying my channel, my content, my videos are all harmful. So I'm not allowed to make money out of the adverts they whack on here. But they are. They're making money out of alleged harmful content. Now remember folks, YouTube and Google aren't an authority on hate. It's just some hairy hipster sat behind a desk in California, Silicon Valley, who doesn't like what I talk about. What I talk about is the truth. I don't incite anything. So to piss me off, they demonetize me, they don't want to pay me, and they're keeping the proceeds of my work to themselves. Hence, that's why I started to Buy Me a Beer. So if you wanted to support my channel, the money goes to me and not to Google and YouTube. So it's pretty straightforward stuff. And to those of you who have already bought me a beer, link down below, thank you very, very much. I really do appreciate it. So by being a left-wing, bleeding heart Twitter twat, a virtue signalling know-it-all who likes to lecture others and measure everyone else against your own backward morality, you are setting yourself up to a massive fail. Your bleeding heartness, your willingness to blindly help a person or a cause without ultimately knowing everything about them or it, could bite you in the bum. Now take this story for example. As we all know, last week England beat Germany 2-0 at Wembley and they knocked them out of the Euros. So Stan Collymore, a wife-beating former England footballer, posted this photo on his page, and it's of a young German girl hugging a relative. We don't know who this guy is, but we do know they're Germany fans because it was taken at Wembley and they've got the German flag on their cheeks. And this little girl is crying her eyes out. Now we can assume she's not in pain. We can assume no one is inflicting harm on her. And she's upset and crying because her team were dumped out of a competition by England, and that's it. She's a bit upset, and she'll get over it. Now, assuming the guy hugging her is her dad, being responsible and loving, he would have probably told her, there, please do not cry, if he's speaking in English to her. How's about if daddy buys you a little schnitzel when we leave this place? Would that cheer you up, Daddy's little sausage, I love you. And that's it. You know, she probably cried for 2 minutes, 5 minutes. She'd have been over it. That's it. She'd have flown home, sailed home, and that would be the end of it. It's a horrible memory, and that's it. Her team lost. So, some bleeding heart idiot on Twitter called Joel Hughes, he decided to... I can't help laughing at this because this is really, it's supreme stupidity. He set up a Just Giving page, and the aim of this was to raise 500 quid to this little girl who he has absolutely no idea who she is, where she's from, in Germany, or nothing, to show that not everyone from the UK is horrible and that we care. Oh. However, after 4 days, the page had raised £32,667 in donations from people who wanted to show their support. So this guy, this Joel Hughes from South Wales, he put out a tweet and then Just Giving took over. And apparently that money is still rising. So this little girl, whoever she is about to cash in and do really well for herself simply for being upset. So it's safe to say that Joel Hughes from Pontypridd, South Wales, raised all this money to a girl he doesn't know anything about, where she's from, or nothing. Bear that in mind. And here's the full tweet. Okay, Twitter, I need your help. Oh, don't you just hate that? Okay, Twitter, I need your help. Or Twitter, do your thing. I need your help finding the parents' guardian of this little girl from yesterday's Euro 2020 match so she can have a little bit of money we raised. And in brackets, her photo got some online abuse, so we're trying to show there is some good left. So Twitter being Twitter and cashing in on the fact, excuse the pun, that this bleeding heart idiot had absolutely no idea who this girl is. Somebody made an account based on this little girl. And here it is. This is funny as hell, folks. Thank you for finding me. Hello, I will take my monies. This highlights the stupidity of this guy, the stupidity of blind, ignorant, bleeding hearts, and just doing stuff like this when you have no idea about the subject matter or why you're doing it or where that money's going. So this Joel Hughes told Sky News, I saw the tweet from Stan Collymore. I saw the vile, unchecked abuse being directed at the images of the young girl, and I think it struck a chord, not just in terms of the vileness of the online abuse, but also the xenophobia. Oh, here we go. Probably a member of Plaid Cymru and a friend of Leanne Wood, the Plank, which taps into deeper issues of where Britain is now and how we are perceived on the world stage. I thought, you know what? I want to try and do something here, however small it might be. He continued, I thought we'd get a couple of £100. But if I'd got a couple of £100, the chances of me ever trying to get in touch with the family would have been negligible, so the scale has helped it. But there is a downside because you do have a nagging in the back of your mind that the family just want you to shut up about it and stop showing the image. Mr. Hughes said he has suffered online abuse himself since launching the campaign and said he hopes the money can be donated to a charity soon. So after all this, Joel Hughes will probably set up a GoFundMe campaign so people can raise money for him because he's been crying out online abuse. Is that how it works? I mean, I can summarise all this quite quickly without even finishing my whole video, to be honest with you. This virtue signalling twat who is doing all this and raising thousands and thousands of pounds to some probably wealthy middle-class German little girl would probably just walk past homeless British veterans on the streets and despise them because they did something patriotic for Britain. And this campaign to raise money for that little girl is one massive virtue signalling exercise to show people how virtuous he is, and that's it. Now, going back to earlier in his comments, I can tell that this guy, Joel Hughes, is probably a Remainer. We definitely know he's a left-wing, bleeding heart liberal type because he says, but also the xenophobia which taps into deeper issues of where Britain is now and how we are perceived on the world stage. So this guy is really pissed off with Brexit 7 years later, or 6 years later, I've lost count. And this isn't just an effort to heal a little girl's broken heart and make her feel better, but a slap in the face of Brexit. I'm going to go with that one. Now, this is the icing on the cake for me. It's a massive, massive what if. And this is the gamble that you have to go with when you do things like this. And you don't think, what if Joel Hughes has raised all this money for this little girl? And what if this little girl's family are all white supremacist neo-Nazis? Can you just imagine that? I think that would be funny as hell. People like Joel Hughes, who's obviously a Remainer, he's obviously left-wing, and he's a Twitter twat. And it would be absolutely hilarious irony, because of his supreme stupidity, that the money he has raised, without knowing the facts about this girl or her family, would have gone to the very people that he hates, the very people that he's saying he stands up against. What if this little girl's family were xenophobic, far-right, white supremacist neo-Nazis? That's just a what if, and I'm saying allegedly to cover my arse legally. See, these people don't think about this stuff. And this just goes to prove yet again that left-wing people like him, they just allow their emotions to take over, and then they become illogical. And they do things on impulse. But there we go, that's Twitter for you. This is why Twitter needs to die, folks. Twitter is where common sense goes to expire. Anyway, that's my video. Please comment, share, subscribe. And if you want to help support my channel, then you can buy me a beer. The link's down below. And for everyone who has done so, thank you very, very much. I really do appreciate it. Right, that's me. I'm done. Hope you had a good weekend. And until the next video, Roger Trout.